Hello and welcome. I'm Laren with Yellow Umbrella Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga at home. This is a 75-minute or so home practice. As you can see, we may be joined a bit by my cat Liam. Uh, we'll roll with that the best we can. And welcome to a new season. If you're joining me in the month of October in the Northern Hemisphere, we're enjoying a shift of seasons from warm to cool and watching all of the leaves fall down. So for this month, for the home practice, I have in mind some kind of centering and grounding movements and meditation style. And you're welcome to come along for as much or as little of it as feels accessible and comfortable to you. So I encourage you to stay curious and decide each moment if something is for you or not. So as I say, take what you need, leave what you don't, and welcome along for the journey. With that, I invite you to get settled, make yourself any amount more comfortable, maybe finding a seat on your mat or practice space, whatever that looks like for you. If you have access to a blanket or quilt, I encourage you to bring one along for cushion and support. Props are, as one of my instructors says, like an accessory for a great outfit. It makes it better. So also available, you may see me demonstrate with a couple of yoga blocks. It's okay if you don't have them, but you're welcome to bring some along if you have some available. All right. Hopefully you're getting a little more comfortable. Pro tip from my practice, I like to fold my yoga blanket into a little long skinny pallet and sit on the thick folded edge. And the reason I do this is to take a little bit of the weight out of the low back. So you kind of sit up on your short step created by your folded blanket and then kind of wiggle forward so that your hip bones, your sitting bones, those kind of bony points on the back of your body that are part of your pelvis and sometimes kind of hard to find with your fingertips because of the wonderful gluteus maximus muscles that are often in the way. But when you're sitting on your little platform, you can just kind of tip your pelvis right off the edge of the blanket so that you're still sitting on the floor, but you have just a tiny little shelf right under that little back edge of your seat. You might find this adds a little tilt to the pelvis, making it just a little easier to sit up tall and not have to work so hard with your front abdominal muscles to kind of stay sitting. Also, your hip flexors may appreciate that little assistance. Do with that what you will, take it or leave it. Maybe take just a moment to bring your attention to your breath wherever you are in space. Maybe listening to the sound as you invite an inhale in through your nose. Maybe sighing to yourself as you let that go. Do that again. Take a nice clearing breath in. And a pleasant, soft sigh, maybe out loud. Ah. This is soothing to the nervous system, the sweet sound of your own voice. For this week, I'm working with a mudra. If you'd like to join me, I invite you to try Mushti Mudra, which is just taking a soft fist with one or both hands. You have the option to let your thumb be on the outside of your curled fingers, maybe connecting with your ring finger knuckle. Or I like to tuck my thumb inside of those curled fingers like a snug little bug in a rug, kind of enjoying a hug for my thumb, sort of bringing warm sensations and a sense of snugness and comfort. So do with that what you will. This is a gesture associated with centering and grounding. So you can practice this now or throughout practice, maybe during a moment of challenge, whether physical or mental. You can just remember your hands, bring your attention there. And the nice thing about this mudra is it's kind of subtle. You can kind of do it while riding a bus. You know, nobody would really notice or have any concern. And again, this is a soft fist and it can relax in your lap or at your sides. Maybe take another breath in noticing how you're feeling, checking in with your energy level. You might notice if that energy level changes throughout practice today. As you exhale, maybe notice a sense of heaviness, the parts of your body supported against gravity, maybe your seat on the floor, maybe that little blanket shelf you may have made for yourself to sit upon. Maybe think tall thoughts, inviting a breath in from ground to crown, growing a little taller, exhaling, growing a little heavier. Some of the movements I have in mind for us today will encourage a little bit of warmth in the body, hopefully encouraging a little bit of motivation when we're done here, an elevated energy level, but hopefully not exhausted. Please come along for as much or as little as feels good to you today. We'll also work with a little bit of hip flexor opening and just some grounding postures to kind of remember our sense of heaviness and connectedness to the ground. Easy things to forget while we're busy during the work week, lost in the computer screen or list of to-do items. So maybe as you sit here, listening to the sound of your breath, growing tall and heavy at the same time, consider something you're building, as though placing a log in a fire. Maybe this is something with a slow burn, something that takes patience, it takes strength to carry, to place it in your imaginary fire, your metaphorical fire. Maybe take another breath in, inviting in oxygen, nourishment for your body while you're building whatever this thing is that you're thinking about. Maybe on an exhale, consider what you're letting go of. Maybe an old habit, maybe an old thought pattern, maybe a way of considering yourself if you shift to a more compassionate consideration for yourself and others. Another breath in, remembering what you're building, placing a log on your metaphorical fire. Another breath out, remembering what you're letting go of, the waste you're burning off, maybe heat that fire could let go of. Nice. You can sit here as long as you'd like. When you're ready, I invite you to clear your space, maybe remove that little blanket seat from beneath and behind you. Just connect with the ground for another moment, noticing the space you take up, making any adjustments, moving flesh out of the way as needed so that your bones can connect with the floor, with the mat, or with the cat. When you're ready for movement, I invite you to go around the world with me, as we call it, just making circles with your shoulders above your hips. This can be really small. Maybe again, considering your energy level, how much effort do you have to offer this movement right now? You can go slow or fast, you decide. Maybe notice the sound of your breath as you keep moving. You could connect the palms of your hands at the fronts of your kneecaps, letting your arms add support and strength wherever it's needed as you move around. Pause when you're ready to switch directions and reverse the orientation of your circular motion. You might invite more of your spine into this movement, maybe on the back edge of your circle, kind of curling your spine, really rounding, maybe even looking at your lap. And as you shift forward and around to the front of your circle, maybe invite your belly to kind of pour forward into your lap, bringing your belly button towards the floor, creating kind of an arch in your back. You could use the strength of your arms to draw your sternum forward and look up. Maybe breathe in here. Pause for these movements as much as you'd like, or move slowly and fluidly to explore them on your own. You can let this be organic. Maybe allowing imperfections in the shape of your circle, remembering that you're human and you rarely take a circular shape. Just inviting some mobility into the musculature around the spine. Kind of taking a soft cat-cow. In fact, let's do that now. Grasp your knees and gently pull your strong arms extended, leading with your heart, maybe looking up, breathing in, arching the back for cow, a seated cow. Exhale, curl from the ground up, tucking your tail, rounding your low back, making space between your shoulder blades, still supported by your long, strong arms connected with your knees. You might draw your chin toward your chest and look at your lap. At 2 more times, inhaling, growing tall. Exhaling, curling. Nice, 1 more time. Inhale to lift. And exhale to round. Nice work. From here, adjust as needed. I'll turn to the side so you can see a little better, hopefully. You might bring both hands to connect with the mat behind you. Your thumbs can turn in or out, whatever feels best for your wrists right now. Bring your footprints to the outer edges of your mat, cat allowing. And just notice this sensation. Maybe sit a little tall with the support of your hands behind you. It might feel a little strange with your knees kind of wide. You can bring your feet closer to you or farther away and begin to shift to the side. It doesn't have to be very far, just kind of rocking the knees from side to side. Your footprint might peel off of the mat left to right as you move. That's okay. We're just leaning the knee towards the floor as it comes past the midline. You might call this a Z sit, depending on who you ask. Inviting a little bit of twisting motion into the lower spine, the hips, where the musculature connects our bodies together there. Maybe sighing to yourself as you exhale. You may find you kind of wiggle forward in space as you do this. You can move your hands, just continue supporting you. Nice. When you're ready, you can find what we call staff pose with just extended legs out long in front of you. It could feel nice to place blocks under your knees or to make a little roll with your blanket or quilt and placing it behind your knees. Especially if your hamstrings are talking to you this morning. Once you're settled, again, you might move the flesh out from beneath your seat, allowing your pelvis to connect with the floor a little closer. Flex your toes towards your shins and reach with your right hand towards or past your left toes. As though drawing an arrow, lead with your elbow and reach back, unfurling your fingertips and maybe looking behind you. Your opposite hand could support you, connected with the floor. Reverse that motion, going back to the toes and prepare to switch sides. It's like we're gathering little bundles of sticks from beside our feet. So reaching from the left hand towards the right toes. Bring your elbow past your shoulder and open up wide, almost like you have grasped those sticks and flung them towards the fire over there behind you. So now you know where we're going. Do this maybe 10 times on each side, alternating. So right to left, maybe inhale to open, left to right. You might exhale when you reach forward. Reaching, opening, reaching, opening. You can let this be organic. There's no right or wrong. I made it up. We're just getting a little bit of movement in the body, a little bit of rotation in the thoracic spine. Opening up the chest by squeezing the shoulder blade on the back of the body instead of pressing it open from the front where it's tight. Might do 2 more rounds. Decide when you're finished. Nice work. You can remove anything from behind your knees and prepare to lay down. You might bend your knees and plant your feet on the mat, bringing them towards your seat. Maybe you can even dust the backs of your heels with your fingertips along your sides. Pause here for a moment and just notice heaviness, how it feels to lay down. Notice your whole back flat and supported by the floor. Your head cradled against gravity. Maybe tuck your chin to lengthen the back of your neck any amount. Invite a breath in. Maybe sigh, letting it go. Ah. Ah. Nice. You might choose to reach up and behind your head with both hands, bringing fingers to interlace, cradling your skull, bringing elbows out wide. From here, lift your left foot from the floor and reach your left knee towards your right elbow, which can lift and cross the midline. Same thing, other side, and repeat. We're going to warm up those core muscles a little bit. You could notice this is a nice opportunity to practice fire breathing, which is an emphasis on the exhale and letting the inhale be passive. You could let your feet hover above the floor and start to ride an imaginary bike if you'd like more of a pedaling motion. Do what works for you. You can extend your heels up towards the sky or keep them close. Toes can point or flex. Maybe sniffing on the exhale out on each side and just noticing the air rushes in as you switch. Do maybe 10 more. You can do it. You can go fast or slow. Notice the connection of your spine with the ground as you move. Move slower if you lose that connection. When you're ready, rest everything. Feet can come to the floor. Arms can rest at your sides. Nice work. Maybe smile to yourself as you invite another breath in.